Hello everyone, my name is Aulia Akbar. Today I will deliver a presentation entitled A Collaborative Framework to Improve Public Participation Practice. I am a PhD student at ITC, University of Twente, and I'm working with Johannes Flacke and Javier Martinez as my daily supervisors and Martin van Maarseveen as my promotor. In our research, we investigated the implementation of public participation practice in Indonesia called Musrenbang. It is an annual participatory practice, commonly implemented in public meeting format, where all relevant stakeholders invited to discuss priorities of programs to be implemented and the financial allocation plans. It is implemented in different levels of governments, from the village, sub-district, district, province, and national level. And this study is focusing on the implementation of Musrenbang at the village level. Musrenbang has some issues in the implementation. It is commonly implemented formally, more like a ceremonial activity, as you can see in the pictures, with less discussion, because most of the sessions were used to hear the speeches from the upper government or the village elites. They were discussing about projects or programs that will be implemented in a specific location, but no data or geospatial data like maps were used to support the discussion. Maybe you're asking why they didn't use maps. Well, it's because the villages don't have the maps. Or, if they have the village map, it is just a sketch map, manually drawn, and they never use the maps as they just put the sketch map on the wall for office decoration only. Let's take a look at the status of the village maps in Indonesia. Even though it is obligatory based on the laws, up to May 2017, from around 82,000 of villages in Indonesia, there were only 12,000 villages that have been mapped by the government. It is important to note that it is only boundary map that's showing the village administrative area, while the regulations stated that each village must have at least 3 different maps, namely the satellite image map, the infrastructure map, and the land use map. The situation portrays that Indonesia experiences lack of spatial data available at the village level, even though the data might be important for development purposes, including for the Musrenbang practices. That is why we propose a collaborative spatial learning methodology to enhance the current practice of Musrenbang. The framework shows that the stakeholders of the village would participate in a process where they learn how to better communicate, collaborate, co-produce their knowledge, and experience the social learning. It is expected at the end, the spatial learning would enable the stakeholders to better engage in the Musrenbang practice. Furthermore, it would enable them to have better geospatial data, particularly village maps, where they are involved actively to produce the maps. We use the participatory mapping method to apply the concept of collaborative spatial learning methodology. There were 3 types of experiments: digital, non-digital, and no intervention at all. The case study is located in 5 villages in Deli Serdang district, Indonesia. 2 villages with digital workshops, 1 village with non-digital workshop, 1 village where the maps were produced by third parties, and 1 village with no intervention at all. This slide shows how the participatory mapping workshop goes. Step number 1 to 9 were implemented in the participatory mapping workshop, while number 10 to 14 were the post-processing stages, where the final village maps were produced by the researcher and then verified by the villagers before the final production. The digital mapping workshop was implemented in 2 villages, in Kramat Gajah and Denai Lama villages. There were 10 participants in Kramat Gajah and 16 in Denai Lama. All participants were males. We used an application called OGITO, stands for Open Geospatial Interactive Tool, which was developed by my colleague, a PhD student at ITC, Ms. Rosa Aguila. We used the QGIS as the main software for the application. Participants can directly interact with the tool by touching the screen provided by the map table. A high-resolution satellite image was displayed on the screen, and the participants were given tasks to work as a group to draw 4 categories of village maps, namely the boundary map, facility map, land use map, and proposed development map. The tool enables the participants to draw lines, polygons, points, and draw sketches during this process. They were free to explore the tools and discuss when drawing. A facilitator guided each session, and another facilitator acted as the technical assistant. The non-digital mapping was implemented in Kolam village. There were 30 participants in this workshop, 15 males and 15 females. In this workshop, we were using a large-scale printed satellite image, transparent plastic layers, markers, and printed symbols on stickers. The participants were divided into 3 groups, and they worked to draw 3 different themes, namely the boundary, facilities, and land use. Each group worked on a specific theme for about 30 to 45 minutes. After that, they will move to the other theme until all groups have experience to work on different themes. On the last session, we also asked them to draw the proposed development map where all participants were working as a group to make the list, to discuss, and draw their consensus onto the maps. We can learn many things from the workshops. Aside of observation and recorded videos and audios, we gave the participants a post-questionnaire and had a short group discussion after the session ended. We also conducted interviews to several participants to gain additional information about the learning experiences and the impacts of the workshops. The preliminary findings show that the workshops help the stakeholders to communicate, collaborate, co-produce their spatial knowledge into village maps, and experience the social learning. Most of the participants were satisfied with the mapping workshops. Some participants expressed that they gained more confidence after the workshop, while others got new knowledge about their villages. Different methods of participatory mapping have their own strengths and weaknesses. Digital method is easier to recall the data, easier for post-processing, less space needed, less facilitators needed. However, it can only engage less participants, needs time to understand the tools, needs technical assistance, and elderly participants tend to be more passive during the workshop. Non-digital method can engage more participants, faster time to adapt with the tools, and elderly participants can engage actively in the workshop. However, it needs more resources and facilitators for the implementation. Not easy to recall the data, and not easy for the post-processing. We need almost 1 year for developing the methods and the mapping tool before going to the real workshops. We tested them several times with different participants and improved the methods from time to time. Working as a group can influence the participants' moods, interests, and their learning outputs. Therefore, designing a good workshop as well as a good mapping tool are crucial because this would be a key success to ensure that participants can work conveniently during the mapping processes. Thank you for your kind attention. Enjoy the conference.